Imagine this. It is Saturday morning. You just gave your dog a full bath, shampoo, rinse, the works. You dry them off, you bury your face in their fur for that clean dog smell you're waiting for, and instead, you catch it again. That same musty, slightly sour smell. Barely an hour after the bath, I know exactly how frustrating that is. You spend 20 minutes soaking through your shirt, wrestling a wet dog in the tub, and you still end up with a smelly dog by dinner time. And what's worse, you start wondering if something is actually wrong. You Google it at midnight. You maybe even booked an $80 vet visit just for them to say, "Looks fine," and hand you a bottle of medicated shampoo that barely helps either. You try a stronger shampoo next time, then a scented conditioner after that, and the smell always seems to find its way back within a day or two, like clockwork, no matter how good the bottle looks on the shelf. But what if I told you that smell coming back so fast after a bath isn't really about dirt at all? What if I told you it's actually your dog's skin trying to tell you something, and the fix might already be sitting in your kitchen? Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Marcus, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I dedicate this entire channel to helping you become the best pet parent you can possibly be, using simple, vet-approved home remedies that actually make sense. Before we dive in, drop the guilt. You are not a bad pet parent. A smelly dog does not mean you're failing at this. In fact, the very fact that you're watching this video right now proves you care enough to look for a real answer instead of just dumping more perfume-scented shampoo on the problem. I actually posted a video on the difference between yeast smell and bacterial smell on dogs, which I'll link at the end, so keep that in mind as we go. So today we are doing a complete masterclass. Grab a notebook, because I am about to give you 6 proven ways to actually get to the root of that smell instead of just masking it. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. I like to call this one the green cloth trick, and it's my personal favorite because almost nobody outside of veterinary circles knows about it. Here's the problem. That sour smell right after a bath usually isn't dirt at all. It's inflamed, overheated skin releasing odor as blood rushes to the surface. Now here's what's truly fascinating. This isn't just tea. It's the tannins and natural compounds in green tea that constrict those overheated blood vessels almost instantly, calming the skin down from the inside out. To use it, brew 2 plain green tea bags in 1 cup of hot water, then let it cool completely until it's room temperature or slightly cool. Soak a clean, soft cloth in it and press it gently against the smelliest spots, usually the neck folds, armpits, or belly, for about 10 seconds at a time, a few times in a row. Now here's a quick warning. Never apply the compress while it's still warm, and never use tea with added sugar, honey, or flavoring. Plain, unsweetened green tea only, and always let your dog sniff it first before pressing it against their skin, in case they're sensitive to it. Chapter 2 is what I call the silent dryer. Let me guess, you're probably thinking a bath is supposed to fix everything, but stick with me here because this one is important. The problem is that damp skin folds trapped moisture long after the towel comes off, and trapped moisture is exactly what odor-causing bacteria and yeast love. It's not just an astringent, it's a gentle drying agent that pulls excess moisture out of the skin without stripping natural oils the way harsh soaps do. This is where witch hazel comes in, and it's something most vets don't even mention on a routine visit. Pour a small amount, about a teaspoon, onto a cotton pad and gently wipe the damp folds and paw areas after every bath, letting it air dry naturally. Now here's a quick warning. Always use alcohol-free witch hazel made for sensitive skin. Never apply it near the eyes, and stop immediately if you notice redness, since a small percentage of dogs can be sensitive to it. Chapter 3, I call this one the pantry antiseptic because it sounds intimidating, but it's actually one of the safest tools in veterinary medicine when used correctly. Here's the problem. Sometimes the smell isn't coming from the skin at all. It's coming from the paws, especially if your dog licks them a lot. What if I told you the secret here is something most owners are actually scared to use? It's not just an antiseptic. It's a diluted iodine solution, the same one used in veterinary clinics, that gently kills surface bacteria and yeast between the toes without burning healthy tissue. To use it, mix povidone iodine with warm water until it looks like weak pale tea, never dark or concentrated, and let your dog soak their paws in it for about 60 seconds, 2 to 3 times a week. Now here's a quick warning. Never use full-strength iodine. Never let your dog drink the solution, and always rinse and dry the paws thoroughly afterward. If you're ever unsure of the dilution, ask your vet to show you once in person. Chapter 4. The Oatmeal Reset. By now you've probably heard of oatmeal baths, and I promise you, there's a reason this one has stuck around for decades. It genuinely works. It's just often used incorrectly. The problem is that harsh shampoos strip the skin's natural barrier, and a damaged barrier smells worse, not better. It's not just a soothing bath. It's the beta-glucans in oatmeal forming a protective film over the skin that calms irritation and locks in moisture. Grind 1 cup of plain unflavored oats into a fine powder, mix it into warm bath water, and let your dog soak for 5 to 10 minutes before rinsing gently. Now here's a quick warning. Rinse thoroughly, since leftover oatmeal residue can actually attract more bacteria if left on the skin, and always use plain oats, never instant packets with added sugar or flavoring. Chapter 5. The Yogurt Layer. Now here's a quick warning before I even explain this one, because it surprises people every time. We are not feeding this to your dog, we are applying it directly to the skin. Here's the problem. That deep, almost cheesy smell that lingers even after a full bath is very often yeast overgrowth on the skin, especially in the folds around the neck, paws, and belly. It's not just yogurt, it's the live probiotic cultures in plain yogurt competing with and crowding out the yeast that's producing that smell, the same way probiotics balance things out in the gut. Take a small spoonful of plain, unsweetened yogurt with live active cultures and gently massage a thin layer into the smelliest fold for about 2 minutes. Then rinse thoroughly with warm water and pat dry. Do this 2 to 3 times a week, never daily, since the skin still needs time to breathe in between uses. Now, here's a quick warning. Only use plain yogurt with no added sugar, fruit, or artificial sweeteners, since xylitol, in particular, is toxic to dogs even in small amounts. Always rinse completely, since leftover yogurt residue can attract the very bacteria you're trying to avoid. And if your dog has a known dairy sensitivity, skip this one and stick to the other chapters instead. Chapter 6. The Inside Job. This is the foundation chapter, and I promise you, none of the other 5 chapters work as well without this one. Here's the problem. Sometimes the smell isn't coming from the outside at all. Dry, flaky skin from the inside produces its own odor no shampoo can fix, no matter how many times you bathe your dog in a week. What if I told you that most chronic, smelly dog cases actually trace back to diet long before they trace back to hygiene? It's not just a supplement, it's omega-3 fatty acids rebuilding the skin's natural oil barrier from within, so the skin stops producing that musty smell in the first place instead of you constantly fighting it from the outside. Add a fish oil supplement formulated specifically for dogs, following the dosage on the label based on your dog's weight, mixed into their regular food once a day, ideally with a meal so it absorbs properly. Give it about 3 to 4 weeks of consistent use before expecting to see a real difference, since skin cell turnover takes time. Now here's a quick warning. Introduce it slowly to avoid an upset stomach or loose stool. Always check with your vet before starting if your dog is on blood thinners or has a clotting disorder, and never use human fish oil capsules without checking the dosage first, since they're often far too concentrated for smaller dogs and can cause vitamin imbalances over time. Now please listen closely, because this is a massive veterinary warning. None of these 6 remedies are meant to replace a real vet visit if something more serious is going on. If the smell is strong, sour, or yeasty, and it comes back within a day or 2. No matter what you try, if you see redness, scabs, hair loss, swelling, or your dog is constantly scratching or chewing at one spot, that is not a bath problem anymore. That could be a skin infection, allergies, or a hormonal issue that needs actual diagnosis and sometimes prescription treatment. Please see your vet if the smell persists beyond 7 to 10 days, despite trying these remedies consistently, or sooner if your dog seems uncomfortable, is losing hair in patches, or the skin looks broken or inflamed. Home care is powerful, but it is not a replacement for a real diagnosis when something is truly wrong. Here is the golden rule. You do not need to use all 6 of these at once. Daily, mix the fish oil into their food. That's your foundation, quietly working in the background. 2 to 3 times a week, rotate between the witch hazel wipe down and the yogurt layer, depending on which fold seems to need it most. As needed, whenever you notice a flare-up or that smell creeping back fast, reach for the green tea compress, the iodine paw soak, or an oatmeal bath, whichever matches where the smell is actually coming from. The whole process should take you no more than 5 to 7 minutes on any given day. Dealing with a dog that just won't smell clean is one of the hardest, most quietly exhausting parts of being a pet parent. It's not dramatic. Nobody else really understands why it bothers you so much, but it does. But by choosing to educate yourself, by choosing to take just a few minutes out of your day to actually understand what's happening under that fur instead of just masking it, you are proving how much you truly love your dog. And that makes you an incredible pet parent. If this video gave you hope today, please hit that like button. It helps more pet parents find this information. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss our weekly deep dives. And please leave a comment telling me, where does your dog's smell show up the most? The paws, the ears, or the belly? I read every single one. Give your sweet, beautiful dog a gentle scratch behind the ears for Dr. Marcus tonight. I'll see you in the next one.